Hi guys, welcome to another video on this code. In today's video, I will be building a multi-level drop-down menu using only HTML and CSS. And as we can see, in the left section we have the logo, and in the right section we have the nav links, which includes the home, product, services, about, and the contact. And in the product section we have a drop-down. In the service section we have a drop-down as well. In the service section we have a drop down, same as in the training section we have another nested drop down. Same as the product, we have a drop down. For electronics we have a nested drop down. Clothing, we have another drop down for men, women, and kids as well. So the ID I'll be using is VS Code. I already have my VS Code open. You can just press Shift and 1 to generate this. For the title, I will choose to change the title to drop down menu. I can also leave it, but let's just change it. Then I'll be linking my CSS, I'll be linking my CSS, the style of CSS. I already have the CSS file open as well. So I'll be having a nav with a class of navbar, which will serve as a container where I'll be wrapping every content inside. So now let's create the nav with a class of navbar. Then inside the nav, I'll be having a div for the logo, which will be by the left hand side. The div with a class of logo, and also we have a content of logo inside. Then for the right hand side will be for the nav links as well. Now that's for the logo. Now for the right, now let's move to the right hand side. Okay, let's for the content, which is the logo inside. Now we have done. Now to the right hand side, where I'll be having UL, which is the on order list, where I'll be wrapping all the content for the left hand side inside. So for the UL, I'll be giving the UL a class of nav links as well. So inside the UL, I'll be having the list items for the link. I'll be having a lot of list items for the link. So as we all know, for the first list item I'll be wrapping the list item inside an anchor tag. So the first link li I'll be having is for the home. Then after the home, we have the product, we have the services, we have other list items as well, but the first one will be for the home, where I'll be wrapping it inside an anchor tag. Okay, then for home, okay, as you can see, this is what we have now in the browser. This is what we have for the home. I'll be dividing my screen into two now so that we can see. Okay, okay, so this is what we have. Then after the home, I'll be having another list item, but the second list item, which will be for the product, will not be a straight list items, because I'll be wrapping, because it has a drop down, and then under the list item drop down, there's still another nested drop down. So I'll be wrapping it. I'll be giving it a class of drop down. While inside the list item, I will have an anchor tag with the products. So everything inside that will be inside the product will be inside this list item of drop down as well. So after the product, now we will now have another list items. We have another list item that will be the drop down under the product as well. Then the list item, the product, I'll be giving the product a class of drop down toggle. Then another UL under the anchor tag for the product. Now this UL will now be the drop down that will be under the product. When we over on the product with the class, I'll be giving it a class of drop down as well. Drop down, class of drop down menu. Under the UL, we will now be having different list items as well. From the drop down, we have, from the products, we have another UL with the drop down menu. Then we have some other list items with which have an anchor tag inside. Okay, so the first items will be for all products. Okay, oops, error. Okay, that's what we have. So we have another list item now. I'll be having another list item. Okay, now I'll be giving the li a class as well. I'll be giving it a class of nested drop down menu as well. The nested drop down is okay. So under the li, I'll be having another, I'll be having an anchor tag as well for the links, which we also have a class. I'll be giving it a class of nested drop down menu. Yes, for the li, which is the container, I give it a class of nested drop down. While the anchor tag inside the li will be having the nested drop down toggle as well, which we have the content for the first content electronics. And under the li, the electronics is an anchor tag which serve like the title. Then under the electronics, another drop down that will be there. I'll be wrapping down other drop down inside the UL with a class of nested drop down menu as well. So this is what we have. Then under the UL, you'll be having another list items as well. This tutorial is just this drop down menu tutorial is just like an UL li under UL on other list item under and on other list. That's just it. The first we have a nav with the class of nav bar, then we have a UL, which under it we have an li, UL, li. That's how it just work. The products have an li of all product electronics, then the electronics also have another list item as well. So we have the first list item for smartphone, the second for laptops, then the third one for the tablets. That's under electronics. So that's what we have. We are done with that. So the next we'll be moving to another list items under product as well. Which I'll be giving it a class of nested drop down as well. I'll be wrapping it inside an anchor tag. This will be for clothing. The class, I'll be giving it a class as well. A class of nested drop down toggle as well. Okay, this is for clothing. Then it now have an on order list, which we also have a class of nested drop down menu as well, which is the UL, which also have list items for the nested drop down. Okay, now this is the UL with the class of nested drop down menu. Okay, now for the li, we'll be having for men's, for the first li, we'll be having other clothing is for men. Let me just copy the li and paste it 2 more times to make it 3. 1, 2, okay, that's 3. Then the second one, let's just make it for women. Okay, then the last one, let's make it for kids as well. Okay, this is what we have as the list items under the clothing. Can we see what we have now under the clothing? We have for men, women, also as kids. Now we are done with that session. With that part, we'll be moving to another li as well. Where I'll be giving it a class as well. But let me first wrap it. I'll be wrapping inside an anchor tag first. Okay. The content will be for home goods. That's all for the product. Under the product, we have the first one is all product. We have all product, which is the electronics, the clothing, also as the home goods. Now we move to another list items apart from the product. The list item we'll be having now under the menu, under the drop down menu. The first list item, I'll be giving it a class of drop down as well. I'll be wrapping it inside an anchor tag for the first content. I'll be giving it a class as well. A class of drop down toggle where the content will be for the services. I told you after the product we have for the services. Okay. Then after the services we'll be having another list, which will be having a class as well. I'll be giving it a class of drop down toggle. Okay. Then under the drop down toggle, this should be a drop down menu. That's fine. Then inside the URL now, what we'll be having, we have already have for services, so we'll be having another list items under services to list the services that we have, that we offer. So I will be wrapping inside an anchor tag inside the li. The first will be for the consulting as well. I'll just copy the li and paste it 2 more times. 1, 2. Okay, now we are good. Then the second content. Okay, let me just cancel the third one out. 2 is okay for now. Why the second content will be for support. Okay. Now for another li, I'll be wrapping it inside the class of nested dropdown. That will be the dropdown. Another dropdown under service dropdown. Okay. Now this is like the header for the dropdown, which I'll be giving it a class of nested dropdown toggle. While the content as well, for the content, that will be for training. Okay. Now the training we still now have nested dropdown on its own, which I'll be wrapping it inside and UL on other list as well. Now I'll be giving it a class of nested. I'll be giving it a class of nested dropdown. Okay, nested dropdown menu as well. Now we have an li list items, which I'll be wrapping inside an anchor tag as well. Okay, now let's see what we have for the content. First content will be for online because it's training. We have the first content is for online courses. We just copy the li and paste it 2 more times. Okay, 1, then 2. Then after the online courses, then another training we have is for workshop. Okay, workshops. Then the third training, will be for certificates as a certification. Okay, now we are done with the nested dropdown under training. Other services we have for consulting, support, then we have for training. Then we are done with the dropdown under training, nested dropdown under training as well. So we'll be moving to another part, to another section entirely. Then after services, what we have is about for the list item. You can see step by step. If the code is not looking good, you can just press Ctrl+Shift+F then to format the code to make it align very well in our VS Code, so that the code will look more good and presentable. It will not scatter because the li and ul is somehow confusing. So this is what we have after the about. We have the contact as well. Now this is what we have so far. The first we have product, then after product we have services, After services, we have this is what we have. Okay. After services, we have okay, okay, okay. Can we see? Okay. We have about, we have contacts as well. Obviously, the first one is product, second one is services, about, and contacts. The right hand side we have for logo. Okay, oh sorry, there's mistake here. I should have a content of home as well. Okay, now it looks good. After the home is for the products. Under the products we have our products, electronics. Under the electronics we have for smartphone, laptops, tablets. Then we have clothing as well. We have other clothes we have for men, women, kids. Then we have another LI for home goods. Then we have another LI as well for services. Under services we have for consulting, support, training. Then under training we have for online courses, workshops, certifications. Then we have the last, which is about and contact. Fine. Now the next we'll be moving to is the CSS. I already linked my CSS in my HTML header that time. Now for the CSS, the first thing I'll be doing, let's reset the default style first. Okay, let's reset the default browser style. Now I'll be giving it a margin of 0. Now I'll be using the universal selector, okay, to give it a margin of 0, a padding of 0 as well. Then for the box sizing, I'll make it a border box. Okay. This is already okay. Now for the list style, let's make it none to remove all the list style, the dots. Okay, now that looks fine. Now the next thing we'll be selecting is the body. Let's style the body as well. I'll be giving it a font family. I'll be using the area. Then I'll be using area. Then I'll be using Helvetica and sans serif as the backup font. Then for the line height as well, I'll be adding some line height of 1.6. Okay, now let's give it a general color. I'm giving it color of dark gray. Now for the background, I'll be giving it a background image as well. Oops, should be URL for the background image. I already have the image here in my folder. Can we see this image we'll be using? The name is image.jpg. So now I need to link the URL. Okay, that will be image.jpg as well. Okay, we can see now this is what we have. Now let's style the image, the background image very well, because it's not looking good like this. Now let's give it a background repeat. It should be no repeat. Okay, now oops, okay, let's try and check what we have. Okay, the next thing I'll be having is for the background position. That should be at the top of my container. Should be at the top center of the container. Then after the background position, the next thing I'll be having is the background size. That should be cover as well. Okay, now we are good to go. We already have the background image. Now let's style the navbar. The first thing I'll be styling is the navbar. Okay, I'll be adding some comments. I'll be styling the main navigation style first. Now for the navbar, let's make it a flex box by using a display flex. Okay. Now for the justify content should be space between, so that the logo and the navbar will be at the edge of the container. The logo will be at the left hand side, while the navbar will be by the right hand side. The nav links will be by the right hand side. Now background color of dark gray as well. And then I'll be giving it a color of white as well. Now let's add some padding to it. I'll be giving it a padding of 1 rem for the top and bottom, while 7 rem for the left and right as well. This is shorthand property. 1 rem, 7 rem, that's 1 rem for top and bottom, while 7 rem is for the left and the right. Now for the box shadow as well, I'll be hiding a slight box shadow. Okay, this is what we have for the box shadow. Okay. Now we are done with styling the navbar. The next I'll be styling is the logo. The logo itself, that's be by the left hand side. Now for the font size, let's make it more big. I'll be giving a font size of 1.5 rem as well. Okay, can we see what we have about the logo now? Then after the font size, okay, let me try and make the browser more big so that we can see very well. You don't really need to see, you don't really need to make the VS Code big, just the browser so that we can see. Then after the font size, the next thing I'll be styling is the font width. Let's make it a bold font. Okay, now we are good. Then after the logo, the next thing I'll be styling here, I'll be moving to the navbar itself. Okay, let's style the nav links first. For the nav links, let's make it a flex box as well. Okay, you can see what we have. We already make it a flex box. It makes sense. Okay, but still look ugly, but don't worry, we'll style that. Then for the list style, let's make it none to remove the underline. Okay, let's remove the text decoration as well. Oops, the list style is for the dots. I already did that for the universal when I use the universal selector. The next thing we'll be removing is the text decoration, but no, I'll be removing that using the nav links li, because I'm removing it from the list items, not from the container. Now let's make the position should be relative. It should be relative because it has a child. Okay, we're giving it a margin by the left of 1.5 rem as well. Then for the nav links anchor tag, which is the nav links A, let's give it a color of white. Okay, this is what we have now. We'll give it a color of white. Then for the text decoration, the underline, let's remove the text decoration, it should be none. Okay, as you all can see, we have our home, we have the home, the product, the services, the about, and the contacts. Now for the font size, let's increase the font a little bit. Let's decrease the font to 1 rem. Now for the padding, I'll be giving it a general padding of 0.5 rem. Both for the top, the bottom, the left, and the right, each of them will have 0.5 rem. Then I make it a block element display using the display block. Okay, now let's add transition. Okay, we can see what we have now. For the transition, I'll be having 0.3 seconds and is. Okay. Now we are done styling with the nav links anchor tag, the nav links A. The next thing we'll be styling is the nav links over, the nav links A hover for the hover effect as well. Now let's say for the color, let's give it a color for the over, slight yellow color. Yeah, makes sense. For the hover effect, we say what we have now. When we hover on it, we have a yellow color. Now the next thing I'll be styling, I'll be adding comments as well for us to understand more. That will be for the next, I'll be styling the first level drop down. Okay, the first level drop down style, that's what I'll be styling first. Then after the first level, we will now move to the next level. Now for the first level, the drop down, select the drop down menu. Oops, error. Okay, the drop down menu. Okay, for the drop down menu, I'll be making the position. Let's give it a position of absolute. Okay, then from the top, I'll make it 100% from the top. Okay, then from the left as well, let's make it 0 from the left. Then let's give it a background color of white as well. Okay, makes sense. We can see what we have now. Then let's give it a width. I'll be giving it a width of 200 pixels. Okay. Now let's add some shadow. So the box shadow. I'll be using the box shadow. Okay. Okay, for the shadow, I'll be using a slight dark shadow, which of 0.2. You can see what we have now for the shadow. Then for the opacity, let's remove it by using the opacity of 0. Already remove it. Then for the visibility as well, be using the visibility as well to make it hiding. Okay, you can see what we have now. It's no more showing when we hover on it, but very soon we toggle it out when we hover to display it. Now let's add some transform as well. Transform of translate y of 10 pixels. Same as transition as well. The transition of over 0.3 seconds and is. Now for the Z index, let's give it a Z index of 1 for us to show that you have a low Z index. Now for the drop down menu, for the drop down over and the drop down over and the drop down menu. Now I'll be styling the drop down over same as the drop down menu. Now the opacity will be 1 when we hover on it. Already made the opacity should be 1. Then the visibility should be visible as well, because already make it the visibility should be hiding before. Now let's see what we have. And we see when we hover on it, it's showing a blank white. Fine. Okay, now let's move on after it and see what we have now. Now for the transform as well, should be translate y of 0. Okay, you can see what we have. Now for the drop down menu held high. Okay, the drop down menu held high. I already gave it a margin of 0. Now the border bottom, let's give it some border by the bottom of 1 pixel solid on white, a dark, not white. Okay, you can see what we have now. already give it a border bottom. Can we see when we hover on it? The border bottom is like a gray, a light gray. Now when we hover on it, the yellow color showing for the drop down. Now let's type the drop down menu anchor tag, the A. I'll be giving it a color as well, a color of dark gray. Then a padding, we'll give it a padding of 0.7. 0.75 rem will be okay for the top and right, top and bottom. Why I'll be giving it 1 rem for the left and right. Okay, this is what we have now. Now after the padding, the next thing I'll be styling is the drop down menu anchor tag hover, which is the drop down menu here hover. We hover on it. Let's give it a background color as well. We'll be giving it a background color of white. Okay, let's see what we have. Okay, can we see what we have? Okay, wow, looking good. But we've not styled the nested drop down. We are only styling the first step drop down. Okay, now after the background color for the drop down hover, now let's style the nested drop down and see what we have. For the nested drop down, then the first thing I'll be styling is the nested. The nested drop down is the nested drop down. The nested drop down itself. The position will be relative to the parent element because I already made the parent element an absolute. So this should be relative. Then after the nested drop down, I'll be styling the nested drop down menu as well. Okay, for the nested drop down menu, let's make the position should be absolute. Okay, from the top should be 0. Then for the left as well, should be 100% from the left. Then let's give it a minimum width. We're giving it a minimum width of 160 pixels. Okay, we are cool with the minimum width. Now after the minimum width, I'll be giving it a background color of white as well, for it to have a background color. Then for the box shadow as well, I'll be adding some shadow of 0, 8 pixels and 60 pixels for the shadow. And let's give it a color, a shadow color. That's for the nested drop down menu, giving it a shadow color of 0.2. Okay, now for the opacity. Okay, for the opacity, let me the opacity should be 0 for it to be hiding. Then the visibility as well should be hiding. We can see what we have. Okay, we already hide it. Now let's add some transition as well. First, I'll be adding transform. It should be translate Y. Okay, it should translate X, sorry, for the transform. Okay, you can see what we have. Now it's not showing when we hover on it. Now some transition as well. Let's add some transition of all. 0.3 seconds is for the transition. Now after the transition, the next thing I'll be styling. Okay, now we have the product, we have the services already showing. We're working with on the nested drop down. Okay, this is what we have now. So the next thing I'll be styling is the nav links. Okay, the nav links li, I'll be using the child combinator symbol to select all the li in the nav links. Okay, the nav links li last child as well. Then with the drop down menu as well, that's what I'll be styling. Then I'll be adding the drop down. Okay, I'll be adding the drop down item as well to it. So I'll be styling the drop down menu, same as the drop down item. Then for the nested drop down menu as well. Then from the left, it should be auto. From the left, I will be giving it auto from the left. Then from the right, should be 100%. From the right, okay, sorry, error. Then from the right, should be 100%. Then we are done with that. Now for the nested drop down as well. The nested drop down over, and also the nested drop down menu as well. The nested drop down menu. Then I'll be giving the opacity should be 1 when we hover on it. Then the visibility should be visible as well. Okay, now let's add transform. We translate x of 0. That's for the nested drop down over. Obviously what we have now for the electronics showing smartphone, laptops and tablets. Then for the clothing showing for men, women and kids as well. Then this is what we have. Everything is working fine now. Then for the services as well, we have for consulting support, we have for training, online courses, workshops, so as certification. You can see what we have now. Everything is working perfectly. Okay. Okay, wow, nice. Okay, now the next thing I'll be styling will be now for the drop down toggle. Okay, for the drop down toggle indicator, let's add indicator to the drop down so that it will look more professional. Okay, now for the drop down toggle, let's see what we have. I'll be styling the drop down item. No, that should be the drop down toggle. I'll be styling the drop down toggle. I'll be using the pseudo element for the after. Pseudo element, okay, then for the nested drop down menu as well. The nested drop down toggle, then the pseudo element also for the after. Okay, now for the contents, here I'll be using the down pointing triangle. I already have the Unicode copy in my clipboard, so I just paste it. So that should be a string. Okay, let's add. Okay, that should be a string element. Then for the contents, that's it, what we have. Then let's make it a more big font. For the font size, let's make it 0.7 rem for the font size. Okay, makes sense. Then let's add margin to the left because it's too closer. I'll be adding margin of 0.5 rem to the left. Okay, for the display, let's make it, the display should be an inline block, element. Okay, this is what we have so far. Now let's add for the transform. Okay, for the transition, I'll be giving a transform of 0.3 seconds is okay. This is what we have. This is what we have so far in the browser. This is what we have. Can we see for the products? Okay, now let me expand my browser a little bit so that we can see as well. Okay, you can see the icon. Now then the next thing I'll be styling will be the nested drop down toggle after. Okay, now I'll be using the right pointed triangle here. It's already copied in my clipboard. I already copied the Unicode in my clipboard as well. That should be a string as well. Okay, I'll just paste it. Okay, that's what I have. What we have now. Let's see Next thing will be the drop down item. I will be styling the drop down. It should not be the drop down item, it should be the drop down. When we hover on the drop down, to drop down over. Also, the drop down over also has the drop down toggle after the pseudo element for the after. Then I'm giving it a transform for it to rotate as well. Let's make the icon rotate. I'll be making it rotate of 180 degree. Okay, this is what we have now. Now the next thing we'll be styling be the nested drop down over as well. When we over on the nested drop down as well, and also the nested drop down and the nested drop down toggle. Okay, the nested drop down toggle after as well. Now let's make the transform should be rotated as well of 90 degree. Okay, now I think we are done. Let's see what we have for the products. For the services, we can see as the icon is rotating up when we are on the hover, but when we hover out, it will rotate down to point down. For the electronics, the icon is pointing to the right. When we are, can we see, when we hover on it, it's pointing down. When we hover out, it will be pointing to the right, which means there's a content hiding inside. Over, then it's pointing down. For the training, we have the online courses, the workshop, the certifications. Then I think everything is working perfect. Now for the we have the logo in the left hand side, in the right hand side we have the home, the product, the services as well. Don't forget to subscribe and like if you find this tutorial helpful. See you in my next video. Thank you.